as you were saying that, the thing that really popped in my head was the song.
Mm-hmm.
You've Got a Friend in Me. Like, I didn't think about this prior, but how poignant that song is for the conclusion of this movie.
Yep.
Which is, like, you can have a friend in someone, like in someone, right? That's a very interesting terminology, because I think that what that is that you hold space within me. And what that takes is you have to deposit that in there. You have to put that effort. And so as we see that happen, I think the movie moves into its kind of last piece, and we see them work together for the first time.
I think that was, for me, that sounded like really poetic, beautiful language, which is like putting a part, like friendship is putting a part of yourself into your friend,
Yeah.
and your friend holding space.
Yes.
And what we talked about Inside Out, and I think is valid too, is what a vulnerable act that is to like, one, give of yourself to someone, but then the other person create space for you.
Yeah.
And then have to do the same in return.
Yeah.
And I think when the rocket takes off at the end, right? And he goes, oh, the rockets are going to explode. He goes, not today. And they start flying.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're flying. And he's like, no, falling with style, which is what Woody said to him earlier.
Yep.
And then Woody responds with something Buzz said. So there was this complete space, which is they, through conflict, worked out a friendship, and then they started holding space for each other. And I think that's represented in that like beautiful scene.
Yeah, it's very validating, so by allowing him to share and creating this trusting relationship, they can signal right to each other that like your perspective, where you come from, matters. And I think that is a beautiful conclusion, because what it says is that sometimes it's murky. Sometimes when we are trying to connect, when we're trying to be authentic, it doesn't always pan out. But much like when you're forging something, right, it needs to be hammered out. It gets really hot, and you shape it and you mold it into something. And so in that same way, I think the movie kind of shows that we start from these two characters who are stuck in their ways. Yeah. Not even stuck. If we're talking about it in a nurturing way, they are informed by their experiences, and they have this really high conflict thing that happens, and it's challenging them to make space for somebody else. And they initially don't know how.
Yeah. And
the whole journey is eventually leading to learning how to. So at the conclusion, right, when they're in that rocket and they share, he says falling with style, and Woody says something about, no, you're flying.
Yeah.
It's like this beautiful moment where you're like, it's like that heart-wrenching moment where you're like, finally.
Yeah. The thing that we've been longing for, right, happens, and we're at peace. Like, it's that relief.